Hello everybody and welcome back to Apple Gaming SE. This is Apple News and Opinions for March 10th through March 16th, 2024. So as always, we start out with new subscribers, but this week there are no new subscribers. Womp womp. That's okay. Not every week can be a growth week. I think that this proves that the Halo Master Chief Collection content on crossover on the Mac is not all that popular. So I'll just be pulling back from that. I did the majority of the games, not Halo 2. Halo 2 I couldn't get to run, but Reach, Halo CE, Halo 3, Halo 4, got all of those to run, and ODST just runs on Halo 3's engine, so I didn't really see a need to make a separate video for ODST. Anyway, so moving on, we'll just go ahead and jump straight into the news. The Epic and Apple App Store drama is continuing. Two articles from Apple Insider are covering Epic's dispute with Apple, saying that they are in contempt of court for not following through on removing anti-steering measures in the App Store. The anti-steering measures are steering users to one form of payment or another, and Apple released a statement in response to Epic on this topic. I have to take back what I said about Epic and Apple sitting down to have an adult conversation. That appears that's not what's happened here, at least not in the U.S. They may have reconciled things in Europe somewhat, but here in the U.S. it's still an ongoing issue between the two of them. It seems to me that Epic wants Apple to remove the 30% fee, or 27% in this case, of using external links for payment methods. Apple, of course, said that Epic and developers need to prove that external links are being used for in-app purchases in order to help secure the ecosystem. The court seemingly agreed with this by saying that the court is not going to micromanage the payment system or systems in place in these markets. Additionally, it pointed out that the millions of iPhone users out there have a vested interest in the integrity of the ecosystem. So again, seemingly, the court understands that Apple is trying to secure their systems by not letting third-party payment methods potentially abuse customer purchases. In a partially unrelated note, to help Apple's to help position Apple's point of view, I should say, they made a statement this week, and that is that Apple is warning the DMA has lowered its cost of iPhone exploits coming from 9to5Mac. So this was an excerpt from a interview done with Gary Davis, which is Apple's data protection officer. He made a statement regarding a recent white paper that Apple released during their regarding their compliance with the EU's DMA. He said that, quote, the cost for an attack on iOS could decrease. That's because of these new potential ways to attack users. The costs of developing an iOS exploit are still very high. Our team at the security lab is trying to make those costs higher and higher so that it won't be worth it for attackers to target iOS. End quote. So Apple's position is that they are primarily concerned with customers' protection, and I believe them for the most part, especially since the entire EU marketplace is only valued at like 6% of all App Store sales. One thing that I think is rightly pointed out in this article, the DMA is for fostering market competition, not for strengthening platform security. As a good capitalist, I think that they will eventually sort out what the best mechanism is for market competition and security. I'm just disheartened that it's going to take a few dozen or hundreds or maybe thousands of people getting scammed before we really find out what that mechanism is. Further, I think history has shown well enough, including recent history, that corporations will take the most cost-effective method forward. I hope that the DMA and the EU's ruling on this doesn't open more opportunities for loosened security when it comes to personal device security. Of course, you don't have to sideload anything, and if you don't, this may well all be a moot point in regards to you. So macOS Sonoma 14.4 is breaking USB hub support for some external monitors, and others users are generally reporting kind of a mishmash of USB devices no longer working. I personally haven't had this myself, but I wanted to put up there in case anyone else needs to hear it. Basically, the new system preferences there's a new system preferences option named, quote, allow accessories to connect, end quote, and it is set to ask for every time instead of always allowing connections. All you have to do is go to the privacy and security settings, and then you will see the option for allow accessories to connect, you switch that over to always and you'll be good to go. I think Apple meant well with this, but they just didn't educate users on the new expected behavior. So we're getting these kinds of this kind of thing happening, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Just wanted to bring it up in case anybody's experiencing it. The Brave browser sees a sharp increase in take-up as Apple prompts EU users to choose. So this is coming from 9to5Mac as well. And as someone who is a fan of Brave, I don't have a problem with this. I like Firefox a lot too, and I use Safari for all of my channel-related work just to stay kind of in the Apple ecosystem regarding the channel content. Still, I think Brave is a great browser, and if you're into crypto, you can earn some small rewards using Brave, just browsing the internet. Nothing life-changing, but maybe a little spending money here and there. Just make sure you secure your wallets. So I think the actual number was that over the course of a week, Brave saw an increase of 3,000 users in the European Union, which is pretty major. So they had 8,000 users before, now they have 11,000, so a little less than half. I'm not super good at the math off the top of the head. I'm going to say something probably like 35-ish%, so like 35-40% increase in user base all out of nowhere, so on iPhone at least. So that's pretty cool. Good for Brave. And we'll see how the browser situation in Europe continues to develop. Talking about things that are changing, also with 9to5Mac, here's a percentage of PC users are choosing new Macs for their new purchases. 35% of Mac sales, of new Mac sales, I should say, are switchers from PC. If you include Chromebooks and first-time computer buyers, that's nearly 60% of new Mac sales, which is great. PC switchers alone to the Mac make up about 3 times the number of Android to iPhone switchers. Admittedly, the market for Mac sales is significantly smaller, so we're only talking about percentage differences here as opposed to literal hard numbers. So nonetheless, that's really cool news. Glad to see so many folks are coming over to the Mac. I think the Windows hardware side of things is losing... they're kind of losing that mid-market segment, like you can get really good hardware on Windows, but you can't get quite as good a hardware. But if you want to do customizability for like gaming or crypto mining or certain investment systems, or if you're looking for really low-cost commodity things that are like $200, $250, $300, that's all in the PC space. So I think that... I think that's what's driving, kind of that mid-market segment is what's driving a lot of folks to the Mac. Apple is also now assembling the 6.1-inch iPhone 15 in Brazil, so geopolitical realities are still realities. Assembling iPhones in Brazil will benefit these regional customers, certainly, but it also benefits Apple by not requiring them to depend as heavily on China. Don't forget that Apple is still investing into India and Vietnam to expand their manufacturing base, so Apple is definitely trying to diversify its global supply chain. Another Apple research lab is opening in China, however, for new materials and technologies. These stories, I think from the last 3 stories and for the rest of this news article, or for the video, they'll all be 9to5Mac. So Apple is setting up shop near their local major suppliers in Shenzhen, China. While this is logical on its own, I can't help but wonder how much of this is Apple trying to capitalize on the opportunity of sodium-ion battery technology. It's still very new, but apparently China has a ton of the raw materials needed to manufacture the batteries. So if Apple was, we'll say, closer to the front, then they might be able to fast-track some of the new battery technology to market. This is just speculation on my part, but if it isn't the case, it doesn't work out that way, Apple still has a research lab which is very close to its biggest suppliers and manufacturing partners. And the last piece of news here for this week, Apple acquires the DarwinAI startup ahead of iOS 18's AI push. Earlier this year, Tim Cook let it slip that AI will be a focus for Apple this year. I say let it slip. He said we're going to be breaking new ground. And notably divulging that Apple's corporate plans and not using the terminology machine learning. So Apple has constantly used on-device learning or machine learning as their for the marketing terminology. They have never said AI or artificial intelligence, and it looks like that is now officially changing. So DarwinAI is a company that Apple is going to acquire, and it has been focused on the visual inspection during manufacturing processes to speed up service to customers. However, Apple's desire is to see this technology adapted for uses on device, meaning that we will continue to see secure AI-powered features, hopefully massive improvements in Siri, and no worries about our voices or pictures being sent to some anonymous server, which may later get reviewed by humans for quote-unquote accuracy purposes. Unless, of course, you opt in which case your stuff will be sent to review by somebody at Apple. I think they vet their people pretty well, but no system is perfect. I like everything on device, that is to say. So that is it for news and opinions for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. Looking forward to continuing the new Thursday streaming lineup. So we'll be continuing Resident Evil 4. I think we are really close to the end of the game now. We might have 1 or 2 sessions left before we are done with Resident Evil 4 Remake on the iPhone 15 Pro. So that is going to be that. Look forward to seeing you all in the future, talking to you. Please like and subscribe. Oh my goodness, I was about to say leave a comment and like at the same time. So leave a comment, subscribe. I look forward to seeing you all in the next news and opinions video or my next live stream. So take care now. Bye-bye.